data of what we are going to get it from the source system, which means assuming that we could able to get the data here. Once you get it, what do we need to do with that particular data? So that is going to be the key challenging task of what we have in any what you call warehousing world. So that is where first and foremost thing is what once we get the data, we need to understand like what kind of data that we got from the source system. So that is where a discover or analysis or profiling layer would come in. So all of them are synonymous. So which means this is going to be the one of the important layer which need to be taken care for each source system data. Once we do that, we will understand like for example, what are the strengths and weaknesses of what we have from a given source system in terms of duplicacy of data or uniqueness of data or null data or percentage of null data and metadata issues and so on. All such things will be taken care of within what we call discover layer.
Discover phase. Okay.
Once we do that, we are going to take output of this what we call discover layer, which will become as input to the next layer, which we call cleanse layer, where we are going to what we call carry out parsing, standardization, cleaning of data, enriching of data, plus match and merge. These are the core and essential aspects that will be taken care of by using what we call a cleanse layer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Raghavendra. Anytime you can just interrupt and start asking questions. Yeah?
No, that's fine. Yeah, fine.
So which means we are going to use this particular cleanse layer, which we can also call that as quality layer, where we are going to carry out parsing, cleaning of data, standardization of data, enriching the data, identifying the duplicates, which means matching, and merge. So these are the key what I call activities that would be carried out by using what I call cleanse layer. Yeah? So which means what? As a result of this quality layer or cleanse layer, we are going to get a final record which we call qualified record or master record, which is going to be the end result of what we call quality tool. For example, let us say we have two banks, namely Bank 1 and Bank 2. Let me just illustrate with one example where you will get to know why there is a need to think of choosing what I call data quality tools. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
So, for example, we have Bank 1 and Bank 2. Yeah? So, assuming that these are the two sources. Yeah? Now, due to some business reason, Bank 1 acquired by Bank 2, where you are holding the account in both the banks. Yeah? Let us take a simple example. So, in the first bank, what I call you would have given the name like ABC, and second bank you would have given the name like ABC1, and the address of what was given in the first bank is going to be what? Street number, street name, city, state, zip code, and so on. But in second bank, where you have not given any address, let us say worst case example. Yeah?
Okay.
In this scenario, let us say the merger has happened, which means what? Now after merger or after acquisition, then
Yeah.
how are we going to identify whether these two records belongs to the same customer or not? So that is going to be the one of the key aspect of what I call data quality. So which means identifying duplicates. Yeah. So this duplicacy would be expressed in terms of what we call exact or probable. Yeah. So which means what we can have exact matching records, or it could be what we call probable matching records. For example, let us say in bank 1 you would have given short name. In bank 2 you would have given full name. Yes or no?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So it means what? In that case, do we have any way to identify this, what I call these two records as any duplicacy? Answer is yes, with what I call probable matching, what I call strategy. So how do you do that? So to do that, we can configure, are we going to expect 70% of match, 80% of match, or 90% of match, based on what are those columns. In this case, let us say we are going to focus on name column in order to identify these two records has got some duplicacy. Yeah. So if you go with what I call 80%, but on what basis you decide 80%, and how or what are the algorithms that will be used to identify these two as duplicates, I'll talk about them once you start with the real, with a tool. Yeah. So which means here, assuming that there is a way to define the percentage of what we call match or percentage of duplicacy. So if we specify 80%, let's say there is a what we call duplicate data, which means what? These two records would be considered as what I call duplicate records. Yeah? Which means what? These records belongs to one single customer. Yeah? Now, what do we need to do? It's only one part we have done, which is what I call step 1, right? Now, step 2, what do we need to do? We need to come up with what I call good data, so that it is easy to keep track of this particular customer by having precise information corresponding to this particular customer. So how are we going to convert these two records to a single record, which is going to be the qualified record or master record? To do that, we have different what I call consolidation techniques, which we are going to use in order to what I call understand the kind of what I call consolidation that can be done by using different what I call consolidation techniques. Yeah? So we have what I call different ways to convert n number of matching records, where n equal to 2 to one single record. So to do that, let us say first simple case 1, where let us say whichever column has got longer in length. In case if you want to consider such column data as a good data, we can do that. If you take that particular case where length is going to be the what I call key part, in that case, which is going to get survived? This value from bank 2, and then this value from what I call bank 1. So which means what? This is what we call a master record. Yeah. So which means we can have a combination of multiple columns data from multiple records is what we call master record. So this record will be taken as input to the next layer, which we call consolidation integration layer, where The output of this data quality will be taken as input to the integration layer. That is where Informatica Power Center, which we call Informatica ETL tool. Raghavendra?
Yeah.
So which means this record will be taken as input to ETL. After that, we apply different ETL operations. So I'll not get into that because we'll get deviated. So ETL, we just take the output of this, what is called data quality output, and then take that as the input and start applying different transformations, which means converting one form of data with another form of data is what is called transformation. So that's what we do as part of this. Once we do that, output of this transformed or converted data will be sent to the deliver layer, and in turn deliver layer will be used to populate data to the final target, which we call data warehouse. So that is what happens with respect to what is called usage of this qualified record. Clear, Raghavendra?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So am I going fast or slow or medium?
No, that's fine. Yeah, I'm pretty much fine this phase. Yeah.
Fine.
Thanks.
So which means what, this is a simple life cycle that we need to understand for any warehousing project. Yeah? I'll just summarize. Access layer will be used to read the data. Discover will be used to understand the data. Cleanse or quality layer will be used to qualify the data, which means create a master record, and that will be taken as input to integration, apply transformations, and transform data will be sent as input to deliver layer, and deliver layer will be used to load the data under the final target, which we call the data warehouse. Yeah? This is what I call the summary of what we have discussed with all these layers. Yeah?
Okay.
And once we understand, then the next step is going to be what? In case any change that was done within this either profiling tool or quality tool or whatever, how are we going to keep track of such changes? That is where audit module is going to help us in order to what we call keep track of metadata changes as well as data changes. Remember, yeah.
Okay.
So both of them will be tracked by using audit framework or audit mechanism of what we have in quality tool. Yeah.
Okay.
Now the next is what monitoring, which means let us say we have built different data quality rules. Now every day we keep running what is called different activities or different tasks. Yeah? And just to measure like what is the quality every day, yeah? In terms of percentage or whatever. Yeah? So which means in case if you want to measure the data quality progress since last 1 month, how are we going to do that? To do that, we have what we call monitoring feature within the data quality through which we can measure the data quality progress over time. Yeah. So which means it's just like what we call, you can compare this with what I call Sensex information of what we have in any India, right? In any country rather. Yeah. So where we are going to what I call look at the progress of this stock information or any what is the financial aspects of any country by using that measuring or metric. Same way in data quality also we use this monitoring framework through which we can measure the data quality progress over time. Clear?
Okay, yeah.
And apart from that, in case if you want to integrate data quality output with what is called third party reporting tool, you can always do that. so that we can start getting into the integration of what we call data quality with a reporting tool and see the kind of reports that we generate with quality, without quality, and see where do we have gaps. Such things will be identified as part of reporting. Yeah? So which means we can have here some monitoring output. Here also you will have some reporting output, and we can see the difference and see in case if you have any gaps, those gaps can be filled in by building new quality rules or by modifying existing quality rules. Yeah?
Okay.
Clear? So
Yeah, clear. Thanks.
now, so once we understand this, then in the top layer where you can see different areas, yeah, which are going to be the what we call results of this particular all these layers, which means what? Let us say first and foremost thing is what? Data warehouse, which means we are going to use all these layers in order to build a final target, which we call the data warehouse, right? Similarly,
Yeah.
we also have migration, assuming that existing project where they have built a project with what we call legacy system as a base. For example, mainframe system or SAP system or something else. Now, the customer would come back and says that, hey, we need to what we call take care of what we call this. So we need to take out this legacy system and migrate this to what we call newer system. How are we going to do that? Again, we are going to make use of these layers in order to what we call take care of such migration activities. Example, migrating the data from mainframes to final target, let's say Teradata database. To do that, we can use what we call these tools in order to migrate from one to another. Yeah? Clear?
Okay, yeah. In the migration, let's say I have the target model columns, yeah, and the source would be many sources, like 5 or 6 legacy systems. I need to combine these 5 or 6 legacy systems. I would create the new one, and I have the new model. The logical model is ready. Any tool will give me the mapping between the legacy and the new systems attributes. Which tool, if it is?
ETL.
ETL will give me the mapping to list.
Yes, exactly. Which means we can combine
Based on the
data
attribute.
from 5 source systems by using some what we call conditions and start converting the legacy source system data to the, let us say, later target, let's say Teradata. So we need to apply some transformations in order to convert legacy format to new format and get the data loaded onto the final target, which is, let us say, Teradata example.
No, I'm interested only in the first phase, only the mapping. I'm not going to do the transformation and loading part. All I'm interested in, let's say, some team has built the new model for the new logical model for the newer system, and I have the legacy systems attributes. So let's say I need to do an exercise of saying that the newer attributes belong to which legacy systems and their associated columns and tables. Will that be allowable in any tool?
Yes.
Or doable in any tool?
Yes, that is possible integration tool, ETL tools.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, ETL tools have been designed for, or we can also call them as all the integration or ETL tools are or will be used for carrying out these migration activities. Yeah, that's what many people have done it. Many projects have been executed with ETL tools.
Okay. How it does it? Is it like manually using predefined intelligence, or do I need to how it will generate a mapping list? Let's say
we need to create, which means manually we need to build mappings by building what I call mapping specifications, and then we have a tool which is very easy to use, and then which is going to facilitate us on converting one form of data which is in legacy to other form of data which is later. Let's say data model in what I call newer system would be different from legacy system, right? So you will have both. So we need to what I call use these ETL tools in order to bridge the gap between these two systems. That's what we do here, Raghavendra.
Okay, so that means it in a single spreadsheet it can tell us saying that okay, this is the source are the destination attributes, and these attributes are mapped to these sources, and these are the its columns and the tables.
Exactly, right. Column to column mapping or table to table or multiple tables to single table. There are different categories. So that we need to think of while migrating from old to new.
Okay, but that is achievable, right?
Yeah. No, this is 100% achievable. It's already done, and this is happening since more than 15 years, not today. Yeah.
Okay. So it means I don't have to see. Let's see what I'm coming from is we are also planning to do some migration.
Okay.
So let's say I have 6 legacy systems. Yeah, we have identified 6 or 7. I would get the DDL scripts and I load it into, let's say if it is an ETL tool, and I have the target system, the logical model. Let's say even I can get the DDL scripts. If I load both, yeah, I should be able to get the mapping. Right?
Yes, we can build it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Fine. Now the next is what data consolidation, which means as we discussed just now, one example like how to identify duplicate data, convert them to what I call single record, which is going to be the master record, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where consolidation, convert n number of duplicate records to a single record is what we call data consolidation. Yeah.
Okay.
So that
Fine. Thanks.
Yeah, that will be done by using what we call data quality tools. Yeah.
Okay.
Now the next is what master data management. We can use same life cycle for even for master data management, which means before integration layer, master data management would come in, where we are going to focus on key business areas like we have customer, product, vendor, supplier, and so on. So the way we represent data in customer domain would be different from product domain, vendor domain, supplier domain, and so on. How are we going to take care of business driven master data? That is where what I call master data management tools are going to help us. Yeah. So where first and foremost thing is what if we take a CRM where customer is going to be the key, which means key subject area. Identify that, build a model, and come up with what I call good data, which will be accomplished by using MDM tools. So which means before integration, we come up with what I call good data for customer domain or product domain, and that will be taken as input to the integration layer again, which means MDM tools also would fall under the category of quality tools. Only thing is MDM is a business driven what I call element, which means it's like a superset of data quality. So whatever can be done or whatever can be done in data quality, all of them can be done in MDM tools. Plus you will also have extra capabilities like a trust, validation, and so on, which cannot be done by using data quality tools. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have data synchronization, which means let us say you have produced some output and you need to compare what you produced against with what we got from the source system. So how are we going to take care of such kind of validations plus synchronization issues with respect to source and target? For that also we have separate tools like a data sync tools within this life cycle that will be used to take care of synchronization issues. Yeah? And finally, we have B2B data exchange, which will be used in order to take care of unstructured data, which means, let us say we get the data like from PDF documents or Word documents or data from emails and so on. How are we going to read or write data to such type of what we call source system data? So that is where we are going to take help from B2B data exchange, which is going to facilitate us on achieving this functionality. So which means what? Just to make it in one line, all these 5 layers will be used to achieve any warehousing, what we call activities, to make it very simple, which means all of them, like whatever we discussed, all of them will fall under the category of warehousing domain, if you think from the top level. Ravindra?
Yeah, okay.
So that's what we have. This is the life cycle. Once we understand, then within this life cycle, as part of this data quality, we are going to focus on discover layer and cleanse layer. So which means we are going to profile the data and come up with a vertical good data, which is going to be the master record. So which is a long process actually. I have just made it very simple here, just to make you to understand like what do we get from the data quality. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a brief introduction about life cycle. Once we understand that, then we will get into what I call data quality architecture, which is Informatica data quality architecture. So we have several tools in the data quality, what I call domain. We have what I call IBM InfoSphere quality stage, SAS data flux, First Logic from Vivo, and what I call Trillium, Address Doctor, and so on. We have many quality tools that we have in the market. Out of them, this Informatica data quality is leading the market because of it has got lots of capabilities than compared to other quality tools. Plus, it also has got support for many countries which we don't have it with other quality tools. That is why Informatica data quality is leading the market in comparison with other quality tools of what we have in the current market. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine.
Yes.
Now, once we understand that, then we can get into what we call technicalities about Informatica data quality. So, if we start with architecture of Informatica data quality, where we have 3 broader layers. One is what we call client layer. Second is what we call server layer. Third is what we call repository or meta or data layer. In simple terms, client, server, data or meta layer. These are the 3 broader layers of what we have in the data quality. Yeah. And so which means we have this data quality since what I call 3.1 version onwards, but the architecture of what it was with pre 9.x is different from 9.x because there is a pure SOA based architecture, which means service oriented architecture, plus there is addition of new web based client which we call Informatica Analyst, which has been added in order to what I call carry out analysis in web based rather than what I call standalone based. That's one thing. And next thing is what? There is a good, or we can have collaboration between end users and what we call suppliers, or we can say subject matter experts or business analysts or IT managers and so on. Which means what? Any change that was done by analyst will be visible for other stakeholders of data quality because we have centralized environment which we call web-based environment, which is what we call Informatica Analyst tool. Yeah. And then other is what? Informatica Developer, which will be used by application developers, where we need to build what we call different transformations or different mappings in order to build a business logic to meet any kind of data quality requirement. So Informatica developer client, especially, it has been designed for what we call for handling data quality activities, or pure developer specific data quality activities. Clear?
Okay, yeah.
Now the next layer is what? Server, which means what? Let us say you have built some mapping here, you need to execute it. So someone need to provide services, right? That is where we have what I call different services within this what I call data quality, which we call model repository service, data integration service, and analyst service. These are the services that we are going to use in order to what I call achieve, or in order to service different kinds of requests of what we are going to get it from, either from Informatica developer or from Informatica analyst. Clear? These are the versions of what you could see here, Raghavendra, where we have 9.1, which I was trying to talk architecture, right? And I'll also talk about the extra features of what has been added in 9.5.1, which is going to be the latest version. Now,
Okay.
if you go and look at the client, which I was trying to talk in the Informatica developer, right? This is going to be the thick client, which will be used by whom? Application developers. Yeah, clear?
Okay. Yeah.
So let it get open, and besides to that, we also have one more client which I was trying to talk, which is Informatica analyst. Let me open that as well. So once we open that, then client part is done. So any what you call request that we are going to send either from analyst or from developer would be serviced by using different services of what we have within the data quality environment. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
where what we call this, what we call server or Informatica.
Analyst will always be the web-based.
Sorry, say it again.
Informatica analyst will always be the web kind of a thing.
Yes, it's a completely web-based. Can you see here? I just supplied the URL, host name followed by port number followed by tool, which is analyst tool. Yeah. So we can just supply what we call username and password, which is a pure web-based, 100% web-based. Yeah.
Okay.
So which means we are going to use this web-based client in order to carry out analysis plus collaboration plus communication plus creation of reference data. These are the major what we call features of what we have in Informatica analyst. Yeah, Ravindra?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
This is a one client which I was trying to talk as part of this architecture. Let me close this. Yeah, as part of this architecture. Yeah. And second is what? Developer, which is going to be thick client. Can you see here? This is a thick client. Yeah.
Okay.
Which need to be opened, which need to be installed first and open it and get it connected to a repository in order to carry out what we call different data quality activities. Yeah. So that's what would be done. Yeah.
Okay. So will I be getting the software to work on?
Yeah. So there are two parts here. You'll get access to server. Through that you can practice, or we can also set it up on your system. So that anything is fine. Ragendra?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So this is what we call developer. So this is how what we call we need to start for getting connected from what we call developer to services and analyst to services. Can you see here? These are the previous mappings that are built for previous trainings. Yeah. So where you could able to see like how are we going to build mappings and start understanding different business scenarios and see how exactly we could able to achieve what I call the good data, which is going to be the end result of data quality. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we do as part of this training. So step by step we'll talk about it. I'm just trying to show one simple example where we read the data and apply, understand the duplicates and identify the duplicates and come up with a good data, which is going to the master data. Yeah. So like what I was trying to give example, right? Same thing. I've just opened one mapping, like how, like whatever example I talked about, right? Same thing. How do you achieve it? By using this particular tool. This is an example of mapping where we read the data, apply different algorithms in order to understand or identify matching records or similar records. Once we do that, convert them to a single record by using consolidation, which I was trying to talk over here. So that's what will be done as part of data quality. Likewise, we have several features in the data quality, which we will talk about them one by one with practical examples once we start actual training. Raghavendra?
Okay. Yeah, fine.
This is a very high level overview of what I call data quality. Once we have it, we have meta layer, which is a repository, and a content layer where we are going to take that as a reference in order to perform address validation and so on. So I'll get into that in detail once you start detailing about this architecture and with the tools as well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So if you have any questions, you can shoot out now.
Yeah, that's all. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah, so one thing is like for the IDQ and UTL to start with, if it is possible for the weekend 2 hours and weekday, I'll see whether I can make it the same time 2 o'clock by lunchtime. Anyways, it's if it is a 7 is means that for me 2:30 to 3:30 I believe UK timing. So I would take the lunch over and I would attend this. I need to see whether my laptop, office laptop, works for the meet me or not. So I'll
Yeah,
do
just
that.
it's very easy to join the session. Today I think you didn't find difficulty, right?
Yeah.
So it's a straightforward. Yeah.
Yes, that should not